Hello, K-drama Unfold lovers, and the show starts with the entry of the male lead whose name is Baek Sawon, who is the spokesperson of the President of South Korea. He attended an event organized by the British ambassador and is shortly joined by the drama's female lead Hung Hye-ju, who she cannot speak and he is a sign language interpreter, so by seeing them together like this, everyone present there starts gossiping about them. They start talking to Sawon. Who is this girl? What is their relationship, etc., etc. Jody says to Sawon that these people should not be nervous. These people are not looking at you, but at me. They are curious to know about you, but remember that no one should know anything about our relationship. Therefore, we should not do anything that may give anyone a misunderstanding about us or spread any rumors. So now we need to know about them well. A flashback of the previous day is shown where she was in the studio of a news channel completing her sign language work. After doing this, she was about to leave when the press release of Sawon went live, which everyone present there was watching. News anchor Yuri, who was telling this story, who was a big fan of Sawon because Sawon was also a newscaster earlier, but on screen Sawon is seen as a big fan of Sawon. Seeing this, Hye-ju gets very angry and walks away, showing the middle finger. So here we get to know that Sawon and Hye-ju they got married 3 years ago, but their marriage is a secret which no one knows except their families. If you don't know, then we will get to know later how and why their marriage happened. Then Sawon finishes his press meeting and goes to his office. Here Hye-ju is with her mother and mother-in-law. Sawon's dad was a presidential candidate and Hye-ju's stepdad was the chairman of a very big company. These two families had a very old connection. So Sawon's mother asks Hye-ju to leave her job and support Sawon because presidential election was going to be held in a few months, but without coming in public because these people do not want everyone to know that Hye-ju is Sawon's wife, who does not speak. Sakti Ji-jun's mother would ask whether there is a need for this. Then soon Sawon's mother would say that it is better if she doesn't say this, and she would go away after saying this. Then Hye-ju's mother gets angry at her and says that it is your mistake. You have stolen someone else's husband, so work well. Remember, you are the chairman. Hye-ju remains completely silent on Hong's daughter and the future president's daughter-in-law. Then she leaves to go to her office. She leaves, but on the way, her car goes out of control and suddenly stops in the middle of the road. Seeing this, Hye-ju understands that her car has been hacked. That is why neither the doors of the car were opening nor the car was moving forward, due to which she narrowly escapes a collision with an oncoming truck. And then we see a mysterious person a little distance away who has a weapon in his hand. There was a different phone in the phone which makes us understand that he is the one who hacked the car. Then that person starts walking towards Hye-ju's car and even gets into Hye-ju's car. Meanwhile, Sawon receives a call on his phone. Sawon's assistant Dojae says that a strange call has come from a number. When Sawon picks up the call, a voice is heard from the other side saying that I will kill your wife. Sawon asks, "Who are you? What else are you talking about?" Let's see that the person who called Sawon was the same mysterious man who hacked Hye-ju's car, and he was threatening Sawon by keeping a knife on Hye-ju's neck. Sawon's phone's battery got dead, so he put it on charging and went to the house. First, he calls Hye-ju's mom and asks about Hye-ju. Hye-ju's mom says that she was with me, but she was away for a long time. He gets relaxed after knowing that she has already left for home and asks Doja to trace the kidnapper's number. After some time, the same kidnapper calls again, and Sawon tells him that you killed my wife. Do you even know who she is talking to? She is my wife. Do you even know who she is and what she is? The kidnapper says that I have kept a knife on your wife's throat. If you disconnect the call, then I will slit your wife's throat. Sawon gets fed up and says that I am not in the mood to joke at all. So whatever you are, the kidnapper stops making prank calls and says that I will really kill him. Sawon says yes, then kill him, and says not now, right now I have to pay for the money. What is still left to be discussed? Sawon says whatever demand you have, you can keep doing it. It doesn't matter to me, so don't call me again. Saying this, Joshan disconnects the call. The kidnapper gets angry and starts strangling Hye-ju with some wire. The car goes out of control. When it starts happening, the kidnapper leaves him and tells him to drive properly, and then says this is not a joke. Did you understand? Why is your husband taking this as a joke? Doesn't your husband care about you? I will call him again right now if he calls me. If you don't listen, then you are going to die. He calls again, but the voice call is not being picked up, so the kidnapper gets angry. He cuts his neck and starts kicking him here and there while rubbing, and then says, "It's okay. You know, this phone is very different. Through this, calls can only be made to sound, and this number cannot be tracked before talking for 10 minutes. Voice modulation. It is always on, so he will not be able to recognize my voice. And you know, I had already hacked your car. I had planned everything so perfectly, but this bastard husband of yours is not picking up my calls, and if he calls again this time..." When Sound picks up the call, the kidnapper says, "I told you that I will kill your wife." To which Sound angrily replies, "Yes, then kill her when she turns into a dead body." Then the caller says this and disconnects the call again. Seeing this, the kidnapper gets even more angry, but on hearing this from the Sound. So Heju also gets very angry, so she starts driving the car at full speed, due to which she hits a sleeper road. Its tires slip, due to which the kidnapper gets hit inside the car and falls unconscious, but Heju is safe because of the seatbelt. When this happens, Sound leaves for his home. Heju had already arrived at the home, who gives him first aid for his injury and then eats. She makes it ready on the table. After a while, Savan comes, and seeing Heju in front of him, he relaxes and says that you are alive. "Yes, today I got a prank call from someone who said that he will kill you. He will kill my wife. But you are still alive." Heju was getting very angry after hearing this. Then Assistant Doje calls Sawon and tells him that he could not trace that number. That number is not used by our local towers, but the first 3 digits of that number. 406 is an area code of the US. So it is a virtual phone number which can be tracked only in real time. I.e., if the person calls again, and if that call is delayed for more than 10 minutes, it lasts till then. Only we will be able to track that number in real time. Then he reminds the Sound that yesterday, a meeting of the British ambassador, there is an event where a sign language interpreter is needed because the ambassador's wife cannot speak or hear, so she uses sound. He asks Heju to be ready tomorrow, as he will be taking Heju with him as a sign language interpreter, but Heju does not respond to his words, and when she comes to her room, Heju's mom calls her, who was telling Heju, and she was scolding me that till now you have not even maintained a good relationship with your husband. If needed, get a plastic surgery done to get in shape. She tells him a lot more, and after listening to her, Heju remembers her wedding day. 3 years ago, she got ready for the wedding. She was sitting there when suddenly Sen came with some documents and told her that this wedding dress is not yours. Take it off. You are just taking my wife's place. Our marriage will be private, so you won't have to act as my wife Oni in front of anyone, Jas Neju. Everything. As she begins to take off her dress before she can take it off, Sawon makes her wear his coat and asks her to sign a marriage contract, for which clause from which he can ever initiate divorce Heju's name and face as the wife of will never be publicly disclosed if Heju breaks any of these clauses. If she breaks it, Heju will have to pay a penalty of 2 billion rupees. When Heju signs it, Sayun makes her wear the engagement ring and gives her the gift of marriage. He says, "Don't live under the misconception that we are a married couple because you have been sent to me as a hostess." So in this way, their marriage was never publicly disclosed, and Heju was also a part of a sign language center, so the next day she went to her office. In the movie, Heju was rehearsing very angry, threatening and scolding dialogues as she could not control her anger on the Sound. If it was to be taken out, then both of them reached the ambassador's event in the evening. So after what was shown in the beginning of this episode, the scene continues with both of them together. Gossip had started amongst the people, but ignoring them, Sound Heju. When he comes to meet the ambassador regarding this, Heju tells the ambassador's wife about the conversation between them in sign language. When an ambassador mistakes Heju for Savan's wife, Heju tells him through gestures that I am just an interpreter between us. There is no personal relationship. Sound did not understand what Heju said through his gestures, but the ambassador thanks him. On getting an interpreter for his wife, Sound says that actually my wife also has a disability. The ambassador says that sometimes I did not see your wife with you. You should have brought her too. We could have met. On this, Sound says that actually my wife is my weakness, who, Hearing this, Hee-ju gets very angry. Then Sound further says that because I work for the government, that is why I get a lot of attacks online, so I don't want my wife to face online hate or attacks because of me. He is told by Dojae through a message that everything is ready, and if the 406 call comes now, then we will be able to track it. Just wait for 10 minutes. To keep him engaged, Hee-ju goes from here to drink. Now seeing her drinking too much, Sound stops her from drinking on the phone. I type and tell him that if this is done, then I am leaving from here. To this, Sound says that you cannot go now until I am here. Till then, you will have to stay with me. There is some problem. Your legs are paining, so sit down and stop drinking too much. Listen now, Hee-ju. She starts telling him in sign language, do you think that I cannot hear, or that I do not feel any emotions? Do you ever see how hurt I am? And what did you say I am your weakness? If I was a weakness, then you should have protected me. And what did you do yesterday? After saying this, she starts abusing him through gestures, which Sound understands a little. But while leaving, Hee-ju tells him through gestures that maybe saying this, she goes from here to the washroom, where she hears a lot of noise on the sound. He was getting angry, and after a while, Sound gets a call from the same kidnapper, and this time Sound tells him openly that my wife. So it is safe, because you couldn't kill her yesterday. I was very busy yesterday, so I disconnected your call, but today I have a lot of time. So tell me now, how will you hurt my wife? He was saying all this to keep the kidnapper engaged in conversation for 10 minutes. Then the kidnapper says that it seems there is not much for you to do in the party. Sun Sound is a bit shocked. The kidnapper. He says you must be surprised that, how do I know that you are in this party? You can't imagine that I am so close to you, Savon. He starts looking everywhere, and then tells him that a loser like you can never come here, so stop your nonsense, and you kidnapped him, that you haven't eaten anything, right? If you want, you can eat the brochette kept on your left. Now, after hearing this, the sound becomes louder. When he gets shocked, he asks him, how did you come here? Then the kidnapper says that you just asked me how I hurt your wife. Hearing this, Sound starts looking for Hee-ju everywhere. Then he sees a man upstairs talking on the phone and goes to catch him, but he turns out to be someone else. The kidnapper asks, are you scared? Savon started running and looking for Hee-ho. The kidnapper says, why now? Believe it, nah. Sound says that a loser like you cannot do any harm to my wife. You have made a big mistake by messing with me. And anyway, have you ever seen my wife? Do you even know who she is? That's why he says that Hung Hee-ju is not your real wife. The girl you were supposed to marry was Chairman Hung's elder daughter, Ina, and she ran away a day before the wedding. No one knows anything, but then you married his sister, Hee-ju, because Chairman Hung and someone from your family. There is a very old connection due to which you had to marry into their family, so if not the elder one, then the younger daughter. Now that they have gotten married, what will happen if this thing comes out? Hearing all this, Sound gets shocked because only the two of them knew about this. Only the family members knew about it, so Sound asks, what do you want? Then the kidnappers start telling their demands that first of all you will have to leave Hee-ju. Then you can live with your real fiancé because you don't like Hee-ju anyway, but only then. It is revealed that the person who was talking as the kidnapper was Hee-ju herself, and she can talk, but the voice moderation was on in this phone. So the sound was Hee-ju talking in a man's voice, so we get a flashback of how Hee-ju got a call from a kidnapper. It is shown through a video when Saun, fed up, said that kill my wife and call me when she becomes a dead body saying this. When the call was disconnected, Hee-ju got very angry. That is why she started driving very fast and tried to kill the kidnapper. I was shouting that he should call back that bastard. I also want to tell him something. But Saun did not pick up the call. That's when, due to the sleeper road, Hee-ju's car met with an accident in which the kidnapper fell unconscious, and then he found this phone. The one who had fallen was the one whom Hee-ju had brought with her. Then in the present, Hee-ju says that now tell me if you don't spoil your dad's election. If you want to prevent the secrets of your marriage from being revealed, then you will have to divorce Hee-ju. You have time till tomorrow to decide this. Or else if you want, we can settle the matter for 2 billion won rupee. Hearing this, Sound says that you people are ruining us with your antics. Why don't you stop? You are probably forgetting who I am. It is so difficult for me to make these things of yours fake news. No. If you had to blackmail me, then you should have found out a little about me. like I can get you arrested with my eyes closed. Hearing this, Hee-ju says that, "Do you know what I did to your wife yesterday? I almost killed her. I kidnapped her in her own car and strangulated her with a wire. I had pulled her hair, and I had even made a cut on her neck with a knife. She was so scared. I was about to kill her, poor girl. So she was not able to beg for her life because she cannot speak. Then you said to kill her only when she is a corpse. Call that Iju? I was not going to kill him, but his luck was good. The car met with an accident due to the slippery road, but this." On hearing all this, Sahan angrily punches the wall in front of him and angrily says, "Now you listen. I have never done any such thing in 406 before. I am not so curious to know about the man. I will find you. Now I will not get you arrested. I will catch you myself." 10 minutes. The call was about to be over. So Hee-ju gets nervous and disconnects the call because she also remembered that no one can track their call for 10 minutes. But Hee-ju was very scared because he had disconnected the call exactly after 10 minutes and was worried that Saun might find out who the kidnapper was. "She was calling me pretending to be someone. That's why she was very nervous, thinking whether she would have believed me or I would have caught her. If I go, then episode 1 ends here, and episode 2 starts from where the previous episode ended." Hee-ju comes out of the washroom in fear, but seeing Sanv at a distance, she starts going in the other direction. Sanv sees her. He takes her and starts coming towards her. Yuju gets scared and hides her purse behind her, and Saun takes her with him to an empty room. He comes to her and asks her to show her the phone. She gets nervous and takes out her normal phone, then Saun comes close to him. He comes and asks her if her car had any accident yesterday. Ajo nods her head. Saun asks the time of the accident. Hee-ju tells him the same time when Saun got a call from the kidnapper. She types on her phone and tells that Saun was getting very angry because that kidnapper. His words turned out to be true, and he starts checking Hee-ju to see if she is hurt or not, where there is a knife cut mark on her neck. It is visible, and there were marks of strangulation as well. Seeing this, Savan angrily asks him, "What is this? Who was he? Did you kill him? Did you see her face?" "She would have told me by typing that her face was covered, that's why I couldn't see it." Saun asks, "Did he touch your neck?" "I had put a knife on my head and threatened to kill you." Yaj nods, yes. Hearing this, Saun gets very angry and asks him, "He says that it must be such a big thing, and why did you not tell me?" On this, no one reacts. Then Saun says that from now on, saying that if you have to go, then take a bodyguard with you. He comes out and asks the security team of his building to be ready. He then calls Days and asks him if the kidnapper's location has been tracked or not. Days tells him that his IP address is being checked repeatedly. There is a change happening. Maybe these people are a gang. So San tells him that the kidnapper knows a lot about me, things only my family knows that too. Find out about everyone who came to this event today, and I will call you a kidnapper. And I will send you the recording of the conversation between them. Maybe it is a man, and he is using a voice moderator. Try to remove him here. The conversation was also recorded in the kidnapper's phone, which Garak Hee-ju listens to and says, while laughing a little, that Saun was definitely scared. Then, after seeing this phone, he would say that this phone has been with me since 2 days. Maybe the kidnapper is looking for it. That's why I should find it quickly. The work has to be finished when she hears the sound of the door opening, so she hides the phone in her purse and the sound directly reaches her. He comes into the room and asks her to give him the car keys, even though he was about to take them out of her purse. Hee-ju hurriedly. She grabs his hand, snatches his purse, and gives him the keys. Saun pulls into his parking lot and gets inside his car. He starts checking everything, especially the car's dash cam, which Hee-ju also remembers, so he quickly runs away. She arrives at the parking lot, but Hee-ju relaxes when Seyoon tells her that nothing was recorded on the dash cam. So through the flashback, we come to know that after that accident, Hee-ju ran away with the kidnapper's phone and then called a tow truck. They were called to this place from where the kidnapper had already fled. Coming back to the present, a bike was coming close to them. So Saun quickly pulls Hee-ju towards himself and tells her that there is no need to go to work from tomorrow. Then Hee-ju writes that tomorrow I have to go to court with our director for the job of interpreter. Your mother has also asked me to leave this job, but I want to do sound. He then tells them to keep security with them, but Heeju refuses, so he calls anybody and shows the dash cam footage of Heeju's car, asks him to recover. Then he comes to have lunch with his mom, who asks him to support his dad during election time. He says nothing about this. He says that mom says that you should keep your wife away from elections. I don't know, but I don't like that. Saun says that you people. So you wanted to get me married to Mr. Hung's daughter. Even after changing the bride, you guys still wanted to establish this relationship. After all, it was Mr. Hung who helped cover up our family's old scandals. Meanwhile, Heeju is back after finishing her court work. She comes to the washroom, but then we see a mysterious person going towards the same washroom. Heeju gets scared after seeing his feet outside, so from then on, no one was able to find him here. Still, Saun had sent a female guard for Heeju's security who was giving him updates about Heeju, but suddenly Heeju went missing. She could not see him, so she started looking for him everywhere. Meanwhile, Saun comes to the office where Dojae tells him that he has checked everything, and there was no one at the event yesterday. You should take help of such suspicions because someone tried to kidnap your wife. On this, San asks him, have you ever seen my wife? Have I ever talked anything about my wife? No. I have never talked about her to anyone in the whole country. No one even knows about my wife, but everyone is curious to know. So if we have informed the police in this matter, what will happen if he does that? That too in the election environment. Then Jay says sorry to him that I had not thought about this, Darcourt. In the video, the female guard was unable to find Heeju, about which she messages Saun. Then Saun asks her to find her quickly. After some time, the guard sends a message. It is revealed that Heeju has been found. She is with a man, so Saun asks him to take their photo and send it. Here, we see Heeju. The person she was with was her college friend Sanggu. Heeju saw a shadow outside the washroom. He was the same person in the court. When he came from work, he saw Heeju, and from a distance the female guards were clicking pictures of both of them and sending them to San. Here, seeing both of them laughing and talking in the photo, Saun was feeling a bit jealous while Sanggu asked him that after 3 years, you suddenly went away somewhere? No one knew about you. You never even called. I tried looking for you everywhere I tried. Then one day I saw you on a news channel working as a sign language interpreter. Then both of us started talking in sign language. Heej says sorry to him for not contacting her, and then both of them ask about each other's well-being. And then Sanggu tells her that the person I have worked with the channel and I am going to do a program with them called Crime Report, in which we will investigate some crime cases. They both share their numbers, and then Heeju leaves. After seeing the photos of both of them together, Saun's work starts. I was not paying any attention to it. Meanwhile, Heeju reaches home where after some time, her mom also comes, who gives her a lot of happiness. She had brought some things in which there were some seductive lingerie and dresses, etc., which made Heeju very angry when she saw them. See, her mom says, how can you be such a loser type? Do I have to teach you all this when you ran away before marriage? And you were asked to take his place. Then you kept a condition for the dying that your dad should be shifted to a good nursing home. Only after that you can get married. You had agreed to do this. Therefore, being Saun's wife, you will have to fulfill the duties of his wife. Therefore, if you do anything wrong, then your father will be punished for that nursing. I will get you thrown out of the home. Actually, Heeju did not want to get married, so her mom threatened her dad and got her married to Saun. So basically, she is Heeju's real mother who had left her husband because earlier they used to be very poor, and after that Heeju's dad had become a little mentally unstable, so he has been admitted to a nursing home for the last several years, so there was no time to leave him. Later, Heeju's mom married Chairman Hung, and they had 2 kids who had a link with Heeju's not speaking, which we will learn later. Now, coming back to the present, after taking the Shah, Heeju wears the night dress brought by her mom and calls the kidnapper. She throws him out and calls Saun. Now Heeju wanted to take a divorce from Saun, but the contract which was signed at the time of marriage. Because of that, he got a new chance because of a call from Heeju Divorce Initiative through which she wants to blackmail Saun and get a divorce. So by taking a photo of her thighs in this night dress, she wants to blackmail Saun. She sends me and says, haven't you decided yet? Saun asks, what is this? Heeju says, what kind of husband are you? You are not able to recognize your wife's photo. These are your wife's thighs. Now you think for yourself how I will use this photo. Look, Sound says, what can you do with such fake photos? Iju says, till now I have not been able to recognize my wife's body. There is a unique mark on her thigh. She is a mole. Have you never seen her? Have you never seen your wife naked? Sun Sound was getting more angry. That's why now Sound started asking him questions instead. Goes there to find out something about the kidnapper. But Hiju gives him a rude reply and angrily tells him that if you don't believe me, then go and check your wife's thighs and you will know if it is her photo or not. Saying this, I disconnect the call. But this time they had talked for more than 10 minutes, so this time they had come very close to the location of the phone, but still 3 different addresses in Seoul. When he was showing the photo, Sound asked his team to try harder and was about to ask Dojae to find the origin of the photo, but he stopped. Because he doesn't want to make the same mistake as last time when he took the kidnapper's talk as a joke. That's why he is here. He leaves for home. But Hiju is worried that Saun might come to check her thighs. She was not able to sleep, and then she hears the sound of the door opening, so she gets inside the blanket and acts as Sony. The sound is directly of Hiju. He comes in the room and tries to remove her blanket, but Hiju holds the blanket tighter, but Saun pulls the blanket harder, due to which, in a fit of dizziness, he falls on her and Hiju turns to the other side. Then Saun gets up and tells her that there is a sign language in the presidential office. There is a need for an interpreter. You can apply for it if you want. You were the one who wanted to work, so prove your ability by getting that position. I told you this. Goes and Hiju was like, suddenly he came to tell this Sound, seeing the dining table. He remembered their first night of marriage 3 years ago. He does that. Hiju fell asleep while cooking and waiting for him. Saun was looking at her lovingly. Then he goes and sits in front of her to eat. After dinner, Hiju calls her to dance. She was very nervous about this, and she was doing all this to create a romantic atmosphere as per her mom's advice. When Sound notices this, he asks him to look at him and comes to him and asks if he wants a tip. Don't be feelingless for me. You don't need to become anyone's puppet in front of me. And especially whatever your mom does, she should do it too. There is no need to do anything. So I am telling you clearly that you were never a part of my plan, so you will never be a part of my plan. He had gone away saying that don't study in matters. Then in the present, Sound starts looking towards Hiju's room, while Hiju is still sleeping. She was not able to come because her heartbeat had become fast due to Savon suddenly falling on her. Now she would wake up the next morning. When Savon asks her about breakfast, she goes to make breakfast, but then Savon goes and starts making breakfast himself, which, seeing this, Hiju also comes to help her. Then while cooking food, Sound indirectly asks her about Sanggu, that you were not able to meet the security in the court that day. Aju says she found a college friend with whom she was talking. Then Sound asks, were you both close? What do I mean? Were you both good friends, and is he trustworthy? Iju says yes. Just then, Saun gets a message from Dojae, so Saun goes to him. He gets the food ready and leaves. JD Hiju asks, did he cook food for me? Here, outside Yuri's office, there is a celebrity fans had come, and she was about to fall because of their push, but then Sanggu holds her and Yuri keeps looking at this, and then Sanggu. He is the second main lead of the story, who is a doctor by profession and also a YouTuber. Yuri's coffee falls in Sanggu's hand and both of them were sitting and talking. They come to know that Yuri is going to work with Sanggu in the program he is going to make. Meanwhile, the first sample after removing the kidnapper's voice modulation. The picture that came out was not that clear, so he asks him to try again, and then Dojae shows him a traffic CCTV footage where he is seen in the car of the kidnapper, Hiju. Now they did not know that Hiju's car was hacked by the kidnapper. That's why he easily opened the door and entered inside. He went there, but after giving this information, Dojae says that it seems as if the kidnapper was deliberately let in, which has left Saun thinking too. It happens that Hiju comes to meet her real father in the nursing home. Hiju only talks to him because it is his father who takes care of Hiju. Meanwhile, Saun informs one of his reporter friends about sending the photos of this kidnapper to someone, and he tells in the name of whom that reporter says that a man sends private photos of someone's wife to her husband and threatens to give divorce. This means that the man's wife is having an affair with that blackmailer. Now after hearing this from his friend and what the other person said, Remembering what the kidnapper had said about entering the car, he starts thinking, it was 10 o'clock in the night when the kidnapper's car came again. When he gets a call from there, Sawun picks up the call and disconnects it immediately. Iju could not understand why he disconnected the call, so he tries again. When she does so, the voice picks up the call and says that maybe you are being too anxious to talk to me. I am a little busy right now, so I will call you after 5 minutes. When you call, Yaju calls back exactly after 5 minutes. The voice picks up the call, but before they can talk anything, soon Iju hears the sound of a blast and the call gets disconnected. Iju tries to call again, but her phone is unreachable, so she comes home and starts looking for the sound, but she doesn't find the sound at home, so she calls him again. She tries, but his phone was still unavailable, so she sits there waiting for him to come and falls asleep. But in the morning, he gets the news on TV that a blast has taken place last night in the building where Sawun's office is located, and the masked man who did it has been arrested. CCTV footage is also shown, and the reporter also plays a threatening call recording, which is the same call recording. The real kidnapper had threatened Sawun, saying that I will kill him. You have time till tomorrow or else I will have to kill you. Give me 2 billion or else I will kill you. This was the only recording that was given to the reporters. Now, Hiju gets scared after hearing this. Because all this was said from the kidnapper's phone, which is with Hiju right now, then Savan arrives here whose condition is, she was in a bad condition, her clothes were ruined, there was blood on them. He comes directly to Hiju and makes her sit on the dining table. He says that whatever is happening since the last few days is not making any sense. There is nothing about Hiju that I do not know, but I want to find out what the truth is. So cooperate with me saying this. He starts removing her dress. Hiju stops him by holding his hand, but Sawun says that you should remove it yourself. Should I do it, or should I do it? Now seeing him like this, Hiju gets very scared, and along with this, we are shown a scene from 3 years back. The night before the wedding, Ina threatened Sawun to cancel the wedding, or else she would reveal Sawun's family secrets. Seeing that she will reveal it, Sayun had asked her if Hiju is really getting married to the son of the Jawa family. Inha said yes, but that man is very mean, but Hiju's mother is such a bitch that for her own benefit she can sell Hiju to that man who. Seeing this, Sawun said that the marriage will happen tomorrow, but my bride will not be you but your sister. With this episode 2 ends here. So episode 3 begins just before the blast in Savan's office. With Savan and his team catching the kidnapper were ready to track the call, and now a delivery person comes to their office and leaves a parcel outside their door. Now there was pizza packaging in it, so a teammate brought it inside thinking that someone must have ordered food, and then the sound came. Gets a call from the kidnapper, i.e. Hiju calls, and then the parcel explodes. When Sawun regains consciousness, At the hospital where the rest of his teammates are being treated, Jay shows them footage of the delivery man who the box was kept outside his office. Doji says that this is probably the same kidnapper who is threatening you. Sawun quickly returns his. When he checks his phone, the security has sent a message that Hiju is at home. Seeing this, Sawun starts going somewhere, then the two stop him. Carr says that the police is doing its job, but they do not know that AAP is also involved in this, and if this comes out, there will be an uproar in the media. I had said that by doing all this, the kidnapper wants to challenge me. Now I will have to teach him a lesson, not directly. So in some other way, that is why the kidnapper does not give sound and asks to give some part of the threatening call to the press. Then he went home from here and was going to check the mole on Hiju's thighs, so he took her from the dining table to the bedroom. There is a story in which Jaju writes in her diary and asks if she got hurt. Sawun tells her that a man had left a bomb in our office. Jaju. She asks if he was the kidnapper. Sawun says yes. Then he says, "From now on, I will question you. Who could be that kidnapper? Do you know?" "I know the name." She nods her head and Sawun comes close to her and says, "But why does it seem that the kidnapper is trying to kill you? I know it very well. Even I know about your private parts." Saying this, he again starts removing her dress towards her thighs and Hiju starts getting nervous. It seems that if he asks about the photo of those thighs, then Hiju pushes him away before that and asks him by writing that, "This, what were you doing?" What did that kidnapper know about me and what were you checking? He first kidnapped me and then you. I hurt you and what were you doing, Sound says. Then you really don't know what I was doing. Doji's call was coming just now. Sound says sorry to him for whatever he did. Then he takes her dress and goes out and goes to his room where Toje tells him that the police say that this is a case of murder. It is the work of a serial arsonist who has set fire to several places in the city in the past 6 months, but Sound was sure that it was a kidnapper. Who did this under the guise of arsenic? So let the police do whatever they are doing. We will do our own investigation, because when the blast happened, I was on the phone with the kidnapper, which means he definitely has an accomplice. Hiju is trying to listen to his conversation from outside. When she finished talking, she quickly came to the hall and was picking up the pieces of broken glass. Then Savannah Carr asked her to bring her phone. Who goes to her room and first deletes all her photos from the kidnapper's phone and then switches it off and keeps it on the table. She hides it downstairs, then brings her phone and gives it to Sound. Sound says that maybe your phone may also be hacked. I will get it checked. I will return it. Until then, you stay at home for safety. Since Sound and Hiju's parents had come for the shooting, this is Sound's dad is Mr. Bae, who is a presidential candidate in the upcoming elections, and this is Mr. Hung Hiju's stepdad, who is a big businessman here. We meet the real kidnapper. We see a man who was furiously cutting fish when his friend messages him and asks if there was a blast in the office building. You did it. The kidnapper says yes. You enjoyed it, right? Then his partner says, don't do anything from now on without telling me and do one more thing. Saying this is for you, the partner sends the address of some place. Meanwhile, Sound checks Hiju's phone and finds Sanggu in the chats. When he sees the name, he starts looking at their chats. Recently, Sanggu had sent him a photo from his college days. The name is Nori Dream Center. Both of them had taken photographs with the children in an orphanage of... Here, Sanggu came to discuss about his crime show. Yuri comes to meet the team, and Sanggu wants to investigate an unsolved case through this crime report program, so the Yarian team asks about the case. If asked, Sanggu tells me that I grew up in an orphanage called Nori Dream Center, in the town where that orphanage was established 20 years ago. There was a very big mansion of a rich family where they used to come sometimes. One day, Sanggu went inside that mansion, where the young master of that rich family, i.e. the son of that family, had come for vacation, and he always wore a mask. Both of them met and played many games. He also showed Sanggu his room where there were countless toys of all kinds. Similarly, every kind of toys were there. Both of them used to play every day, but one day, suddenly, Sanggu saw something horrible in his house, and after that, he never went there to urinate. The rest of them start asking what he saw, but then Sanggu gets a call that he had some other plans, so he has to leave. Here, Sound was also finding out about that Nori Dream Center. Then Sanggu's message comes on Hiju's phone, in which he tells Hiju had invited him for lunch yesterday, and had also sent the location of that restaurant, so Sound was looking for that restaurant, when he gets a message from Yuri that hope you must have had a good day and enjoy your lunch, because Yuri was a big fan of Sound, and it was only after seeing her that she became a news anchor. That is why she kept sending such messages to Sound. So the next day, Hiju and Sanggu came to have lunch at the restaurant where Yuri used to come after a while. Now, because she was in, she knew both of them, that's why she comes to talk to them, but she gets very excited while talking about her upcoming guest. That's why she tells them, when my guests come, please don't stare at them. After a while, the Sound enters here, and Yuri gets up and greets him. She says, seeing this, Hiju and Sanggu look back, seeing Sound. Hiju starts hiding her face, but seeing Sound, he knew that she was going to come here, so he had intentionally invited Yuri for lunch, so he came to Hiju before Yuri. Stops, and tells him the interpreter is hanging Hiju Kuto. The next we are shown to Sound's office where the police are conducting some interrogation. When she had come to do it, a sound started coming from below the building. When these people looked, they found that someone had set fire to the dustbins. Everyone was downstairs. When they come, Doje sees a masked man hiding. He runs after him to catch him, and after running a lot, he catches him. Later, he catches her. Here in the restaurant, all four of them sit together to have lunch. Sanggu cuts the food into small pieces and gives it to Hiju, seeing which Sanggu gets angry. So I was jealous that Yuri would tell Saun that Hiju and Sanggu are college friends, and Sanggu and I are working together for a program Hiju, and I have also worked together, so the three of us know each other. But how do you know Miss Hiju Hosaun says that he had helped us in an event of the British ambassador? Since then I have known him, now actually Saun. He had come here specially to know about Sanggu. That is why he was continuously asking questions about Sanggu, seeing which Sanggu asks him, "Are you interested in me?" Saun says yes, hearing which all three are shocked, and he runs out of the washroom. She gets up from the phone. Just then, Saun gets a call from Doje, so he gets up and goes aside to talk to her, where Doje tells him that the serial arsonist has been caught who was spreading fire for last 6 months, but he did not blast our building, which means it is sure that he is the mastermind behind this. This is the work of the same kidnapper. Then Hiju comes from behind him and types on the phone and asks, "What were you doing here, my phone? Did you take it to check whether it has been hacked or not, or to keep an eye on me?" Saun asks, "Are you hiding something from me?" She writes, "Do you have any interest in me and I have doubt on Sanggu? Whatever be the reason. Sanggu is not a bad person." She was writing when Saun snatches her phone and asks her that, "You said that he is your college friend. Do you know him well that he suddenly appeared in front of you after such a long time if you know him so well? If you know me, then what about me? How well do you know me? Anyway, we know each other for 20 years. So tell me, do you know me well?" "It seemed that I know you very well, but maybe not." Saying this, he goes away. Then Hiju is seen in his director's office. She calls him and asks Saun Sanggu for his business card, and he leaves. Hiju also comes with them on her bike and goes to her office, where her director also asks her to apply for the job of interpreter in the residential office because Hiju has completed all the recordings of sound till date. We practice sign language by watching videos of press conferences, and now Hiju's sign language interpretation is 100% in sync with Saun's speech. That is why the director says that this is a very good opportunity for you. Meanwhile, Saun gives the information of Sanggu to Doje and goes to find out everything about him. When he says this, he tells that he has more than 2 lakh followers on YouTube, and he is very famous among girls. Saun asks why he is famous among girls. Jay says because he has a good physique, and despite being a doctor, he regularly uploads videos of workouts, etc. It also covers unsolved mysterious crime cases, so Saun says find out whatever you can about it here. Hiju arrives at the office parking lot to go home, where the radio automatically turns on as soon as she gets in the car and the kidnapper. A song is requested from the phone number of which the name was "Call Me Now." Then that song starts playing whatever this person does. She was not able to turn off the radio, due to which she became very nervous, and as soon as the exit gate opened, she quickly left for home. She goes home and quickly switches on the kidnapper's phone and wonders if the kidnapper knows that the phone is being used by the kidnapper. "It is with me." Then we hear the sound of Saun coming. Hiju comes out hiding the phone. Saun asks her, "Where are you going?" She says he goes to get beer and ice cream from the convenience store and says, "You wait, I'll get it." Saying this, he goes to get it. Hiju calls him again from the kidnapper's phone, and Saun asks her if she was scared or not. 4:06, Hiju says she is. "You took my threat lightly. That's why I did that blast, to make you understand its seriousness. So now tell me, what have you decided? Then the opposite will happen." He asks her that what will be the benefit to you if I leave Hiju? On hearing this, Hiju does not have any answer. He asks, "What do you want to achieve by getting us divorced?" Hiju says, "Anyway, you have not married someone after loving him. That you still love her. Then why don't you leave her?" Saun says, "From your words, it seems that you are giving me money for someone else's benefit. What is your actual relationship with Hiju? But remember, whatever you want, I will give you. I will never give that to you, and I will never leave Hiju." This caller disconnects the call. Hiju could not understand why this. "What are you thinking?" After a while, Saun brings beer and ice cream for her, and as soon as he comes, he tells her that I will not give you divorce. Hearing this, Hiju gets shocked. Saun says that just in case someone tries to mislead you, even if there is a scandal or a rumor, my name is mentioned somewhere. Saying that he should not come here, he comes close to her and cleans the foam on her lips and tells her that she should come for the interview. You have to prepare well and work hard to stand with me, and don't expect any help from me." In the interview saying this, he was about to leave, so Hijishi stops him and asks, "Why do you want me with you if I become the interpreter of the presidential office? Then my name. And if the whole country knows your face, will you and your family be able to handle it?" Savan laughingly says that you are being too much. You look confident, but you don't have much experience. You say that no one else will be better than me. This is my guarantee. And experience is not everything. I can tell by looking at a person's face what he is going to say. So Sound comes close to him and says, "Okay, then tell me. I will tell you right now. What am I thinking? The man who kidnapped you and blasted my office knows a lot about us. It is true that we live in the same house, we live like strangers, but I don't like it. Whatever the kidnapper said is true, but I don't like it. I love him. I want to tell him that you are wrong. I want to tell him that you don't know everything about us." Saying this, he goes to Hiju's room and Hiju follows him. Then she sees that Saun is lying on his bed and calls Hiju to come and sleep. Hiju starts staring at him. Then Saun says that "I will not bite you." Still, she keeps standing, so he turns off the sound lights and says, "Then do whatever you want, but Hiju." She turns on the lights and Saun says, "Are you scared that I will do something? Then keep dreaming if you want to do something. If it was there, I would have done it earlier, or else you are scared thinking that you will not be able to control yourself after seeing me. If that is the case, then don't come. But listen to this." Hiju snatches drink. She takes it and lies down beside him. She was about to turn to the other side, but Saun asks her to turn to face him and tells her that, if he knows about my office, he must know about my house too. So our house is also not completely safe. That's why I am worried tonight. Leave it and go to sleep peacefully and forget about the day of your kidnapping. Forget everything that you heard. Yaju says in her mind that, "Should I forget everything you said that day?" Savan closes his eyes and Hiju keeps looking at him for a while, and then she too. She falls asleep. Then Savan opens his eyes and gets up and leaves. Then we come to know the reason for Hiju's not speaking through a bad dream. So 20 years ago, Hiju's mom lived with Chairman Hung, who had 2 kids, a son and a daughter. One day, all 3. The children had gone for a stroll when their car met with an accident in which Chairman Hung's son was killed and his daughter was deaf. That means Ina is not able to hear since that accident, but nothing happened to Hiju when Hiju regained consciousness in the hospital. When she came, her mother started scolding her like crazy. "How can you be okay? How can nothing have happened to you?" Hiju started crying. So his mother started to forcefully shut his mouth. He was in pain, but still his mother was not removing her hand. Then she heard something, I think, and tell her to stay quiet and not say anything from now on. "You are so shocked by this accident that you cannot say anything from now on. You have to remember that we can't stay here until Chairman Hung takes pity on you. So from now on, if you never talk to him, then this bad thing will happen to you." Hiju wakes up with a dream and the kidnapper picks up Hiju's father from the nursing home and takes him back to the hospital. He brings him far away and makes a video call to Hiju from his phone. Here, the kidnapper's face is revealed, but he calls Hiju as his own. He does not show his face, he speaks with a stammer. His eyes are of different color. Now, from his voice, Hiju knows that he is the kidnapper. She starts worrying about her dad. "The kidnapper had said that you have my phone and you are the one who is threatening Doni by using that phone, but you have to tell him about it. What do you want to answer? Or else I am coming to take that phone," Yuju says in fear that I want a divorce from him. Joshin kidnapper laughs. He says that this is a very good thing. "I like you because our goals are the same, so you keep calling him and you can hang up the phone. Yes, keep threatening him, but if you back off, then it will not be good." Saying this, he shows some of his pulled-out teeth in front of the camera and calls her. He cuts it off, and here Saun, who had come to a place with the president, gets a message, and here Hiju quickly reaches the nursing home. Where his dad was still unconscious, a nurse tells him that he was taken for a walk, who had gone to see another patient for a while when Hiju's dad. He had disappeared and was found far away from the nursing home. The police had also arrived and found the teeth which were with Hiju's father. When the police did not arrest him, the police take Hiju with them to file a report. While leaving, something suddenly happens to the radio of the police car. Seeing this, Hiju and she gets more scared, remembers the kidnapper's threat, and suddenly asks to stop the car because she feels like vomiting. When she came out, she started crying a lot, remembering her situation because very bad things have been happening to her since her childhood. Her mother is so controlling. She didn't even let her speak to him for 20 years. She got her married forcefully. Then this kidnapper started following her. Even now her dad is also in danger. Remembering all this, she started crying a lot. Then these policemen came towards her in the name of the president. They get scared seeing the car coming. Then we see that a sound comes out of that car and it starts coming towards Yaju after seeing the sound. When the policemen salute him, Sound thanks them and asks them to leave. The policemen don't understand and say that they have to take him to the police station. To get a report written, Sound says that you people can go. I will come myself to get the report written. The officer says that, sorry, but what is your relation with him? Then Sound tells Heeju. He picks up the phone and tells her that Heeju is his wife. Hearing this, all three are surprised because Sound had never introduced Heeju as his wife. While episode 3 ends here, episode 4 begins with Sound meeting the president, who's after leaving, Sound received a call on his phone from the nursing home because Heeju's dad's caretaker had Sound's number, so it was known that Heeju's dad was not found in the nursing home, and on learning about it, the president's chief asked Sound to take the president's car. Because no one can stop the president's car, so when Sound reached Heeju while going to the nursing home, I told the officers that Heeju is my wife, so I will come later to file a report, but she asked me to keep this a secret from the officers. When the officer asks for it, the officer requests him to take a photo with Sound, to which Sound replies that when I come to the police station, I will definitely take a photo and you will get my photo. Saying that these personal things will have to be kept secret, he took Heeju with him in the car and told her that she is going to your dad's nurse. They had my number, so they called me, but now we will have to shift your dad to another nursing home. But don't worry about your dad. No need to worry. I will take care of everything. Soon he starts crying, thinking about her dad now. She can't stop crying Sun Saun. He says that then you can make such noises. Heeju becomes silent. San says, don't worry. I am not stopping you from crying. You can cry as much as you want. Here at night, Yuri has come to her regular restaurant where Sangu had also come earlier, so both of them are together. They sit down to eat food. Yuri, who was a very bubbly type of girl, starts teasing Sangu as soon as she arrives. Then both of them talk casually about themselves. Then they talk about their idol son crush. Sangu tells that he has been thinking about someone for a long time. There is a crush on Sangu, which Yuri can guess instantly, and Sangu had a crush on Heeju, which Yuri understood while having lunch together that day. Then Yuri tells him about her idol, i.e. that Sound was earlier a news anchor, but he was very careless about his work. He was very strict, due to which Yuri was very scared of him at first, but Saun had taught her a lot and a lot. He was very helpful, but then he became the spokesperson of the Sound president, left the job and also got married. Sangu asks, whom did he marry? Then Yuri. She tells that Saun comes from a very powerful political family. Her grandfather was a very big shot. Even some or the other of his relatives are ministers, so it is obvious that he got married to the daughter of a very influential family. Here, Saun brings Heeju to a hotel because today they are having a family dinner. Saun first takes her to the hotel room. Heeju comes after freshening up. Saun says we need to talk, then asks her to sit and tells her that, do you know someone is after us? First he kidnapped you, then there was a blast in my office, and now it seems your dad is also in danger from him. Till now I have informed the police, I have not complained, but if it continues like this then there will be no other option. So tell me now if you are hiding anything from me, because Saun had a doubt that Heeju is hiding something, but he says that I will not force you, because otherwise, we are not that close that we interfere in each other's life, but he brings food for Heeju and gives her proper rest, and asks him to come down after having his meal because Saun's mom and dad had dinner downstairs, and Saun's dad wanted Saun to come with him. Saun directly refuses to help in the election campaign, and we understand Saun's relationship with his dad. It is not right. That is why Saun's dad is always angry with him. After some time, Heeju comes, then Saun's dad asks Heeju about him. They start insulting him, and Saun also gets angry. He scolds his dad and starts taking Heeju with him. Then Saun's dad angrily throws a glass of wine at him. When he throws it at him, Saun covers Heeju, but his dad comes and grabs his collar, saying, "If you are afraid of my shadow, if you go out, you will be ruined." To this, Sound says that I have already left, so you should think about yourself, grandpas. You have entered politics on your own strength, but now show that you can move ahead on your own strength. Saying this, he holds Heeju's hand and takes him away. In the lift, Heeju tries to free her hand, but Sayun does not let go of her hand and tells her that you must love me. You must want a divorce because you had to marry me instead of your sister. You cannot speak up. That is why you have put yourself in such a state. I cannot defend you in this situation. But these people are such that they can change even their children at any time, so you should listen to them. There is no need to take it to heart. Saying this, he brings her home. Heeju was now very scared after giving the kidnapper's phone, so he calls her. When she goes to throw it in the garbage, then Sound says, "Give me the garbage bag. I will throw it and come back. This will make her even more angry." She starts getting nervous, so they both start fighting over the garbage, but Heeju snatches it from her and returns to her room, where his director and other colleagues call him on a video call and wish him good luck as he had an interview at the presidential office tomorrow. Sawun also wishes him all the best that She writes, "What will happen if I pass the exam? What will happen if our family finds out that I am working with you?" So Sawun says, "Heeju, till when will you remain an obedient girl who always follows the orders of others? Will you obey others? Are you not tired of listening to this? This is a chance for you to stand on your own feet and make a name for yourself, so be careful with others. Stop thinking about it. Do it for yourself. Do what you feel like doing." Saying this, he started to leave. Then Heeju stops him and looks at him. "That okay? Then you start thinking that if I get this job, then how will you handle the situation?" Hearing this, Sound smiles a little. So the next day, Dojae gives all the information about Sanggu to Sawun, where he finds out that Sanggu is going to do a show called Crime Report with Yuri, but Sawun himself does not go to take the interview. He sits in his office and watches it live. Then Heeju's turn comes where he has to take Sound's interview. One is asked to interpret a speech which Heeju interprets very smoothly and in proper sync with the Sound's voice. Now seeing her perfection, even Seaun was surprised, but he notices something. That is why he himself goes to the interview room. "I come and ask Heeju that you started doing hand science many times, even before I told you so. Tell me the truth. You already knew this speech." So Heeju tells in sign language that I have practiced these videos many times, so listen to the videos of her other speeches. Now Heeju is shown a lot of speeches, all of which Heeju interprets perfectly with Sin. She does this, and seeing this, all the interviewers along with Sound get shocked. Sound cries and asks her, "Did you have practiced it by watching all my videos?" If I nod yes, then Sound says that means you have mastered all my skills, I have memorized it. She says no, I have practiced a lot by watching your videos. Sound says, "How is it possible that you randomly memorize any of my videos? Can you match your hand movements with my voice so perfectly?" Heeju says in sign language, "Because I am crazy," and everyone smiles when they hear it. Heeju says, "I was obsessed with your speech briefing. It was always my dream to become a sign language interpreter. That's why I did intense practice by watching all your videos, studied your lip moments, studied your way of speaking." Mimun practiced a lot, and everyone gets shocked after hearing this. Then the singer asks him, "Can you really not say anything? If you get this job, how will you communicate with the spokesperson's team?" Yaju asks if you know sign language. "If you don't know it, then I will teach you. Then you will also understand whether the interpreter is able to convey your message properly or not. If you learn it, it will be easier for you to communicate with me. But whatever Sawun says right now, you will have to interpret it on the spot." He says the things which he has not said in any speech. Then he tells the story of a married couple in which there is a difference between the couple. "There was no communication. I never felt feelingless, but if I try now, can I keep my relationship as a normal couple? If you can fix it like this, then this sound was telling its own story." Heeju interprets it perfectly. After watching it again, people are left surprised. Then Sound comes out and, thinking about Heeju's words, says, "What are you doing here? Let's see that Chairman Hung's elder daughter, i.e. Heeju's stepsister Hung Ina, returns to Korea." And here Sound gave a gift to Heeju's dad. He was shifted to a very big private hospital, where the security is very tight, so Hee-ju goes to meet her dad there. There were many things kept for her dad seeing, which Hee-ju would ask that dad who did all this. Now if Hee-ju's dad would listen to anything, he used to repeat it to me, so when Sawon came to meet him, he said, "Don't worry, Dad, whatever happens, I will take care of Hee-ju. I will always protect you." Then Hee-ju's dad repeats the same thing. Then she understands that Savon had come here, but now he is with Savon. She starts thinking about him because sometimes he behaves rudely, sometimes very lovingly, sometimes he is very harsh, and sometimes very kind. So I tell my dad that I am not able to understand him. Here the interviewer team had selected Hee-ju only, about which she said Sawon does not react much in front of him, but he is very happy. By giving the name of Hee-ju, he tells about his childhood, remembers the time when the Hung family and the Baek family were friends. Even the two families lived nearby and hence visited each other's houses. There was a constant coming and going, so one day Sawon and his family came to the Hung family's home. Everyone was sitting down to eat dinner. He was given seafood to eat, which he did not like at all, and his mother forced him to eat it and said, "My son likes fish." Joseon Sawon eats it quietly. After they leave, he looks down and sees Hee-ju, who was very hungry and wanted to eat seafood, but his mother gave him some diet food to eat which he did not like. There was no food, but his mother asks him to eat the same and leaves. As soon as she leaves, Sawon comes down and takes Hee-ju aside, comes and gives her his plate of seafood to eat. Hee-ju starts eating it very quickly because if her mother sees it, she will scold her. When Sawon asked his name, Hee-ju told him his name by holding it in his hand. So Sawon remembers this by giving Hee-ju's photo, and he asks her, "How did you grow up so quickly?" Then Hee-ju sends him a thank you message for doing so much for her dad who saw her. Sawon smiles, and then Hee-ju gets a notification of Ina's post from which she understands that Ina has come to Korea, which reminds her again how her mother forced her to marry Sawon instead of Na, so she takes out her wedding ring and remembers looking at it. Sawon told her after making her wear it that she should keep it safely as it is the real one. If the owner comes, she will have to return it, remembering which she takes out the kidnapper's phone from the garbage, and meanwhile Sawon calls Yuri and asks her to tell him everything she knows about Sanggu. Now Yuri, in her excitement to talk to him, tells him this: that Sanggu grew up in an orphanage, Sawon says, in Nori Dream Center, which was earlier known as Senile Child Care Center. Yuri, she says here. Then Sawon gets a call from the kidnapper's number. Yaju says, "You asked me what will I gain by getting you divorced. I will have the answer to what will be achieved. I will have it, Ina. After coming back from that, I need my own place. Anyway, you and your family will be left to him. I wanted Hee-ju to be just a replacement, so leave Hee-ju alone." Sawon says, "It seems you don't know everything. That's why I am telling you that the last person Ina met before she disappeared was me. You probably know this very well. If not," Hee-ju asks, "what did you both talk about?" Sawon says that we had made a deal according to which Ina could never. Hee-ju gets shocked on hearing that she will not become my wife. Then Sawon says that it seems that you were blackmailing me with the intention I ended that motive. Hee-ju disconnects the call because Sawon had reached home, so he would have come to Hee-ju to tell her, and says that because he underestimated Hee-ju, he gave a very good interview, and then reminds him that tomorrow it is the anniversary of Chairman Hung, i.e., Hee-ju's stepdad's company, and they have to attend the party. But Hee-ju says in her mind that, doesn't he know that Ina has returned? So the next day in the evening, these people reach the party. Seeing Hee-ju, her mom tells her, takes her to a side room. "How did you let Sawon find out about your dad? That's one thing you can't do properly." "Joe," she typed and asked if you won't ask why dad was shifted from there. Hee-ju's mom said that it doesn't matter to me. It's good that I have you. There will be no need to pay money in the hospital and what to say. Saying this, she takes off his coat and comes out to look good. Then she asked for help. There was a washroom near it where two girls were talking bad about Hee-ju. On hearing all this, Hee-ju got very upset. She feels bad that when she comes to the party, everyone inside was busy talking among themselves as if no one was noticing her, so she came to the terrace while drinking. She goes to a place where she is feeling sad, thinking about her life that no one cares about her. Then she gets a call from the kidnapper. She takes out the phone and thinks of calling Sawon. After calling him, she tells herself that he must not be thinking about me at all. Then Sawon picks up the call. Then Hee-ju says that your girlfriend disappeared before your marriage. Then how did you feel when Hee-ju took her place? You must not have liked it. She was very poor. She has no social skills. Neither is she successful. She was just a fool. It was like supplementary pages which you got for free with Ina. She also knows this. She wants to leave all this and come out. But he doesn't have the courage. He doesn't like rich families, but he got comfort from this luxurious life. He is like a coward. She succumbs to the money, but Sound says no. She is not like that. She observes the environment around her. It is also wrong that she does not have social skills. People already talk to her rudely. That is why she does not mingle much, and she never bowed down to money. She just loves her mother a little more, and that is why she listens to everything she says, whether it is right or wrong. Saying that all this is wrong, he starts looking for Hee-ju everywhere. He didn't know that there was a time when I too didn't need to eat or talk. I didn't like all the people around me were bad people, greedy people who talked a lot. Then there was only one Hee-ju who was the quietest. When I saw him, I felt a strange peace. I felt comfortable after seeing him. And what did you say, Hee-ju? A supplementary page? No, she is the most unique. You don't know how much hard work she has done. She will make her own name with her hard work. So, if not, don't say anything like this about my wife. Now, on hearing all this, Hee-ju starts crying and says that, then why did you do this to her? Why did you treat him like he doesn't exist? You said that you know Hee-ju very well. Then why did you treat him like this? Why did you say that you both are not a couple? Then Hee-ju turns back after hearing the sound of the elevator opening, and the sound goes out from the elevator. When he arrives, he sees Hee-ju with a phone right next to Tyrus. The scene cuts, and we are shown an extra scene. When Sound went to the police station to file a report, first he clicked photos with the officers, and then, while writing the report, the officers told him that your wife is with that person. One day, she suddenly got very shocked in our car. We thought she was having a panic attack. She suddenly started screaming a lot. She got stuck and asked him to stop the car, hearing which Sound shockingly asks, "Did my wife ask you to stop the car, officer?" He says yes, then Sound takes the dash cam footage of their car, and after giving that footage, Sound understands that Hee-ju can talk to whomever. He is both shocked and